Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Jamaica News in Review. Sivana pleads guilty to death by dangerous driving. Reggae singer Sivana has pleaded guilty to the charge of death by dangerous driving. The entertainer, who appeared in the Westmoreland Parish Court on October 31, will be sentenced on November 17 and could face up to 5 years in prison. In May 2021, just 1 week after the singer received her driver's license on May 17, Sivana was involved in a collision that cost a female driver her life. The police reported that she was traveling along the Scotts Cove Main Road in Whitehouse, Westmoreland, when the Honda City motor car she was driving collided with a Honda Fit going in the opposite direction. The driver of the other vehicle, Odile Cardell, sustained severe injuries and died on May 30. Mike Henry quits chair of JLP's Central Clarendon Constituency Committee. Veteran parliamentarian and cabinet minister Lester Michael Henry has resigned leadership of the Jamaica Labour's Party JLP Central Clarendon Executive Committee. Henry confirmed that he made the decision to accommodate the elevation of his predecessor Joel Williams, who has been a member of the Clarendon Municipal Community and a personal assistant for almost 30 years, to become the next candidate. Henry told reporters that his decision Sunday not to contest the chairmanship will allow the constituency committee to acknowledge Williams as his successor and give him enough time to canvass for the selection of a new candidate. I told them that I had come to the meeting Sunday to push through his campaign, that I am coming to deal with the constituency issues. But I had to tell them that I am confirming that I am not running again, Henry said. Henry has been the Member of Parliament for Central Clarendon since 1980 and is the longest-serving Jamaican parliamentarian, more than 30 unbreakable years in the Jamaican Parliament. PNP mounts Tufton resignation demonstration outside Spanish Town Hospital. Officials of the opposition People's National Party PNP, along with supporters yesterday morning, staged a demonstration outside the Spanish Town Hospital in St. Catherine, demanding the resignation of Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton over the deaths of 14 babies over a 4-month period at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital. Among those involved in the protest were General Secretary Dr. Dayton Campbell, Vice President Norman Scott, who is also Mayor of Spanish Town, and councillors of the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation. Campbell asserted that Tufton has failed in his responsibilities and should be removed, and he hit back against former Member of Parliament for Clarendon North Central Perennial Charles Sr., who on Sunday blasted the opposition for its call for Tufton to resign. Speaking at the Clarendon Southeastern Constituency Conference at Vere Technical High School in Hales, Charles Sr. defended Tufton leadership and that of Prime Minister Holness, whom he said has carried Jamaica through the COVID-19 pandemic better than many other countries. He labelled as disrespectful cause by the opposition for Tufton's resignation in relation to the death of the babies. Responding, the PNP General Secretary charged that Charles Sr. should stay out of politics. Colonel Charles Sr. has left the political landscape, and I would encourage him to just stay out of politics because we really do not want to have this to respond to him in certain ways, Campbell said. Campbell stressed that Tufton should be held accountable. That would be more irresponsible and dangerous for us to take that path as a country, Campbell noted. He charged that what is disrespectful is for the health minister to know about an infection in hospitals in July and fail to inform cabinet and the prime minister. I cannot imagine that he's saying that the prime minister of the country cannot deal with certain information. Campbell argued that Tufton should understand that the collective knowledge of all Jamaicans is better than his own individual knowledge, and share the information would help the country to arrive at a solution quicker and ensure that the Jamaican people are being disrespected by saying that they can't handle information. The opposition plans to ramp up demonstrations in other municipalities in their quest to get Tufton to resign. Spice's condition still unknown following reports of medical emergency. There is still uncertainty surrounding the health of dancehall DJ Spice, following unconfirmed report that the Grammy-nominated artist suffered a medical emergency. Her booking agent, Ray Alexander, denied rumors that she is in a coma after suffering complications from cosmetic surgery in the Dominican Republic. Popular cosmetic surgery company, Designer Bodies, have distanced itself from the reports whilst wishing Spice a speedy recovery. The company has also threatened legal action against entities that have linked it to the reports. Friends and peers of Spice, including MP Lisa Hanna, DJ Pompute and disc jockey Nicky Z, have shared photos in support of the DJ. Security forces monitoring Rockford amid wave of deadly attacks. The security forces are keeping a close watch on sections of Rockford in East Kingston, following a wave of deadly attacks, which have left 3 people dead and several others nursing gunshot wounds. 2 men were killed during a gun attack in Pleasant Heights on Wednesday morning. Another man was shot and injured in a reprisal shooting in the community. Investigators told reporters that the shootings are gang-related. In another attack Wednesday night, 4 persons were shot, 1 fatally, along Seabreeze Avenue in Rockford. The police have not yet released details on the victims. Patterson charged with offences not related to Sivana's death, ACP Chambers stated. Rushing Patterson, the man who was named as a person of interest in a police probe into the death of a popular social media personality, Anika Sivana, was charged with unrelated offences stemming from other cases. The number of cases and full details surrounding those cases are not available at this time. He has been formally charged for some offences unrelated to the main one under investigation now, stated Police Area 1 Commander, Assistant Commissioner of Police ACP Clifford Chambers. The offences from previous cases include abduction and abduction with intent to rob. ACP Chambers said ongoing investigations have led to deferment in formal charges being placed against Patterson in relation to Thousand's case. Investigators are still unboxing new evidence, which is the reason why he has not yet been formally charged in regards to that offense, explained ACP Chambers. Patterson, who is also known as Chizzy and is from Prospect District in Hanover, was named as a person of interest on October 22nd after the body of a 35-year-old was fished from the sea in Reading, St. James a day earlier. She was later positively identified by family members. The businesswoman lived on Waterloo Road in St. Andrew. Experts say absent fathers and toxic masculinity are negatively impacting parenting in Jamaica. Chairman of the Uniform Youth Group, Lieutenant Colonel Oral Kong, has cited the absence of fathers or a strong male figure as a well-toxic masculinity trait as some of the issues affecting parenting in Jamaica. He made the comment while speaking at a launch ceremony for the National Parent Month, which is being observed in November under the theme Reignite the Village. He pointed to the findings of a recent survey on parenting in the country.
The situation in our communities, in our villages, is not uniform across Jamaica. One of the characteristics that is impacting the situation quite adversely is the absence of the father figure, the male, the responsible male, and the image of masculinity that we have predominantly in a lot of these communities. And that factor is impacting how parenting is done. Fathers parent differently from mothers, and that missing role of the father parenting the children in our communities is having an adverse effect. The boys don't have the example of a strong father there to help to correct and point and to instruct on what true manhood, true masculinity ought to be about. And where some men try, I think a lot of times they're made to feel a bit inadequate in the role that they play by how they are treated or remarks which may be made by the women in their lives in the community. And so a lot of them tend to feel inadequate and back away from doing the little that they could do or can do. I'm highlighting that as a problem that we're facing in the village, in the yard, in the community. And the example that is played out quite often is what we describe as the toxic type of masculinity. And this is what our boys are being exposed to. And that is not helping their own development to be responsible males and fathers in due course.
Security guards urged to be patient in light of recent court ruling. Security guards island-wide are being urged to be patient as negotiations continue with stakeholders in the private security industry in the wake of a recent court ruling which stipulated that guards are employees, not contract workers. The Jamaica Society for Industrial Security, JSIS, issued a statement on Thursday, updating the public on the matter. President George Overton pointed out that the society have been in dialogue with the government ministers and agencies as it relates to the timely implementation of the court mandate. He said in a bid to ensure that the transition does not result in unnecessary hardship for guards or for the negative impact on all parties involved, negotiations need to take place with clients who use security services. This, as a reclassification, will require substantial funding, which was not contemplated in the current rates being charged. He said, bearing that in mind, some patience is required to allow time needed to reorganize the structure of various security companies to comply with the ruling. Mr. Overton said this will result in a smoother transition for the guards, client security companies, and government. He noted reports on social media that guards are planning to go on strike next Monday, November 7, 2022, and urged them to reconsider, as such action may sour the negotiations.
We are in discussion with the government to try and have a smooth transition to compliance. As you may be well aware, that it's going to take a lot of client negotiations because it is the increase in rates that will afford us the ability to pay the guards. We have been in discussion, and what we are trying to get from or get consensus on is the effective date of full compliance, and that's the discussions that are going on right now. The companies have been communicating individually with their guard forces that this is the situation, but of course, there is anxiety, and some of the anxiety is being stirred from outside as well. Well, again, it's a matter of how you communicate with the guards, how you get them to understand that at this stage, we already have the clients in distress with what the rates are going to have to be. To go and add insult to injury now by withdrawing service certainly can only do damage, can't do any good at all.
Bronfield murder accused disappears. Man charged with MP's killing fails to appear for trial. Simeon Sutherland, the man accused of murdering former People's National Party Member of Parliament, Dr. Linville Bronfield, whose trial was set to begin in the Home Circuit Court in downtown Kingston on Wednesday, has disappeared. Sutherland, who is represented by attorney Peter Champion, reportedly met with the lawyer along with his parents on Wednesday morning in his offices. However, when the matter was called up before Supreme Court Judge Justice Leighton Pusey, Sutherland, who was said to be on his way, did not show despite the court taking a break to allow him time. The defendant's parents reportedly said they dropped him off at the entrance of the court on King Street in downtown Kingston. In a dramatic turn of events, Sutherland's mother, who stood surety for her son's $800,000 bail, was ordered taken into custody by the court. The police, meanwhile, have been ordered to arrest Sutherland, and site while officials at the sea and airports have been instructed to be on high alert. In the meantime, his attorney told the court he was beyond surprised by the actions of his client. Content Garden St. Anne shooting sends residents scrambling for cover. A man who thought it was safer living away from Kingston was among residents of Content Gardens in St. Anne, sent scampering for cover after armed men shot a delivery man at about 1 p.m. on Wednesday. The wounded man has been hospitalized. His name has not been released. Boy, at first me say a delivery man I get shot. It go about couple steps from which part me turn up me so. I lucky, make me still there. I behind one tree, me have to go run, the man said, who only identified himself as Hailey. I told me I come from, so me say make me take and come a country, cause me think it a less shooting. But it's like everywhere you go, a trouble follow you, he noted. Another man who said he heard the gunshots described the shooting as tragic and said he hopes the wounded man will recover. I me lunch, me just go eat, and me hear a couple gunshot. By the time I go look, me hear people say, them just shoot a delivery man, he said. Police reports are that the man was in the Content Gardens area on a motorcycle when men drove up in a motor vehicle and opened gunfire, hitting him. The vehicle with the men then sped away from the scene. Residents alerted the police, who rushed the wounded man to the St. Ansbury Regional Hospital for treatment. A motive has not been ascertained for the shooting. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification